Huh.
Hi, I'm Dr. Roost with Delta Chiropractic Center, and I want to thank you for being at this stage in your care here. You've come to Delta Chiropractic Center looking for help with some kind of health issue, and we're glad to have a part in that. You probably have seen a number of chiropractors along the highways out there, and you've chosen us for whatever reason you made that decision. So thank you. We're grateful for the trust you put into us in having a part in your health care. One of the things that we try to help our patients understand is that you have a responsibility to take care of your health, and we have a responsibility to do our part in helping you get there as well. In this video, which will take about 30 minutes, we're going to cover some pieces that will help you get more out of your healthcare here at Delta Chiropractic Center. So I would encourage you to get a piece of paper and pencil. You'll want to take some notes perhaps. So if you don't have paper and pencil, put this on pause, go grab a piece of paper and pencil, because there's some specific things you can do that you can tweak or do a little bit better to take better care of your spine. We put those things into the framework of something called the Reservoir of Health. The Reservoir of Health has to do with the fact that we have inside us a repository, a container that looks a bit like a bucket. In fact, you may have seen a bucket inside you on your x-rays. Obviously not, but this concept is true. There is inside us a storage system that allows us to store the things that we need in order to stay healthy. We call that the Reservoir of Health. We are made amazingly well, amazingly complicated, and we're made in a way so that we can actually recover and heal when bad things happen to us. So if we don't pay attention to this Reservoir of Health, different things can happen to us. We use up the resources, we take things out of that bucket little by little, and we use them up, and if we're not careful to put them back in, we end up emptying the bucket out. We scrape the bottom of the bucket, we come up without the things we need, and then we start having health issues. There's a number of ways that can show up. If the reservoir is emptied out, we can end up feeling like we don't have enough energy. Here's a description of a typical American day. We wake up first thing in the morning after 8 blissful, restful hours of sleep, and we need coffee to get ourselves going. Then through the course of the day, we need different doses of picker-ups during the course of the day. Maybe more coffee, caffeine, sugar to get us over that hump. Our blood sugar doesn't stay level like it should. It does this roller coaster thing. So we have these episodes of no energy. Then at the end of the day, we get home to our family. We got nothing left to offer them. We got just enough energy to fall on the couch, reach out with a remote control, and push the button one more time. And then we go back to bed, we toss and turn and do the whole thing over and over and over again. There's other things that can happen when the reservoir is emptied out. We may take more time to heal than we used to. We may get sick easier than we used to. We may have less energy, less creativity, less productivity, difficulty making decisions. These things all happen when the reservoir is depleted because we haven't taken the time and intention and purposeful attention to fill the reservoir back up. So that's not how it was meant to be. We were designed to be healthy. In fact, we were designed to have ample resources of energy and resources so that we can stay healthy, return to health, even if we have a trauma or a sickness or an issue. So what's in that reservoir? We're born with this reservoir intact. And in that reservoir, right from birth on, there are a number of important resources, starting with proteins, vitamins, minerals, even water. And when we talk about each of these resources that are in the reservoir, we have to understand that there's not just enough resources in there to get by, not just enough resources to survive. There's extra, so that when we need them, we can dig into the reservoir and take out what we need for that particular incident or situation. So enzymes, neural organization, the vast overkill, the vast repetitive nature of our amazing nerve system. There's potential and purpose and love and security, these intangibles that allow us to function well and stay healthy. And we're born with all these things, so we can thank our mom for that. We don't have to scrounge around as a newborn to fill up the reservoir. We're born with the reservoir full. All right, but things that happen during the course of a normal day, we encounter activities or situations or circumstances that require us to dip into the reservoir and take out of it the things we need in that moment. So things that happen include stress. We all have stress. We'll talk about that some more in a minute. We grow. From more we're born, we're growing, and that takes resources. We encounter viruses and bacteria. Sometimes we succumb to those and get sick. What else? We have traumas, and it takes resources to repair from those traumas. Gravity, we encounter gravity all day, 24/7. Gravity pulls us down. It takes resources to stay upright. What else? Other examples, more specific examples of stress would include time crunches, car problems, computer problems, cell phone problems, things like that. So I put also on here in-laws, not because I have bad in-laws. I have some of the greatest in-laws on the planet. But the point is, it does take resources to keep relationships healthy too. So we're always using our resources from the reservoir, and if we're not careful, we empty the reservoir out. And if we do, of course there's a solution, and that is to fill it back up. So how do we fill the reservoir back up? That's what we're going to talk about. And we can do that the best and the most efficiently if we recognize that there are 6 areas that we have to pay attention to, 6 different aspects of health that we have to pay attention to keep the reservoir full and balanced. So those 6 areas include nutrition, rest, exercise, stress management, there's a spiritual component, and then of course your spine. All right, so we're going to pay attention to each of these 6 areas. We're going to talk about them in a little bit of detail because we want to give you some very specific and practical things that you can do. So here's where your pen and paper come in. You want to take notes on each of these 6 areas. As we go through them, think practical and think about one thing that you can do a little bit better to keep your reservoir more full and balanced. All right, so let's start with nutrition. Nutrition is important, obviously, because we're constantly replacing cells all the time, and if we don't have the right raw materials, we're going to replace the old cells with sicker cells rather than healthy cells. Okay, so we want to pay attention to nutrition. You may say, well, I eat pretty good. I eat lots of fruits and vegetables. That's not good enough. I'm sorry, it's just not good enough anymore. Our fruits and vegetables no longer have in them what they used to have in them for a number of reasons. For instance, we grow our fruits and vegetables in soil that is often depleted. We always pick the fruits and vegetables early before they ripen, so they're ripening in the back of a truck instead of attached to a root system where they continue gathering the nutrients that we need. Then we store them, we harvest them, or we store them, we ship them, we cook them, we freeze them. All of those things deplete vitamins and minerals from the fruits and vegetables. So we no longer have in them what we should have in them. So there is no longer any question. We should be supplementing our diet even if we're eating well. So how do we supplement wisely? Because you can spend a lot of money on nutrition and supplements and vitamins and minerals and all kinds of faddish things. But I'm going to tell you there's a way that you can get the most out of your nutrition, your vitamin dollar. All right. So first of all, there's a difference between synthetic vitamins and natural vitamins. Synthetic vitamins are made in a test tube in a factory, and natural vitamins are made from whole foods. And the difference is, if you were to take a molecule of vitamin C from a synthetic vitamin, compare it to a vitamin C molecule from an apple, they're the same, except when you take the vitamin C from an apple, it's surrounded by dozens, maybe scores of micronutrients that work together to make that vitamin C more absorbable. So natural vitamins are made from whole foods, and they're much more absorbable, much more metabolizable. They are absorbable and your body will use them. So it does pay to invest a little bit more in a natural vitamin rather than getting a cheap synthetic vitamin like one-a-day Centrum Theragram. Don't buy your vitamins at a grocery store. Go to a health food store, or the vitamins we have here at Delta Chiropractic. We order them because we know they're from a source that makes their vitamins bioavailable, is a good term. All right, so once you decide you're going to supplement, here's the hierarchy of how you should supplement. First of all, get plenty of water. You should have half your body weight in water a day. Number 2, half your body weight in ounces of water a day. Don't drink half your body weight in water. You'll regret it. Half your body weight in ounces a day. Secondly, you should get a good multivitamin, and the one we recommend here is Ultravite 75 is typically the one we recommend for people. It's a one a day, it's very simple, it's bioavailable, and it's not very expensive. It's $34 for a 3-month supply. So you can compare. Go to a health food store. If you can get them cheaper somewhere else, that's fine. Number 2, once you do a multivitamin and you have enough water, the next step would be to look at your Zyto recommendations. We do a Zyto scan, that hand cradle thing that reads your body chemistry. Get some good information about what your body's looking for. We can do that once a month for you if you'd like. If you make some changes in your nutrition, do it for a month. That'll give it enough time to take effect, and then do another Zytoscan. We do those free for our patients. If you're not a patient, we charge a little bit for it. But feel free to ask for a Zytoscan at least a month in between. All right, so you got water, you got multivitamin, you've got your Zytoscan. Then if you want to get other recommendations, other nutritional supplements, individual supplements and vitamins, you'll get more out of those if you do them on top of this infrastructure of good supplementing. All right, and then basically, even before that, let's talk about what you eat. The pyramid of nutrition is what I recommend, which basically is mostly fruits and vegetables, less grains, less proteins, least of all fats. Within each of those pieces of the pyramid of nutrition, you can do healthy foods or poor foods. There's healthy fats and not healthy fats. So do some research on that. Make sure you're getting healthy fats. You don't have to avoid fats, but get healthy ones. Healthy proteins, healthy grains. And you got to watch the grain thing. Some people have some sensitivities to that because of gluten intolerance and because of the GMOs that we're seeing more and more of. So do some research or ask us here. We can kind of guide you in some of those areas. All right, so that's nutrition. Did you get something you can do a little bit better in nutrition? That's the goal. Write it down, something you can do a little bit better. Next, let's talk about sleep. Proper rest is important because we heal while we're sleeping. It's important to get adequate rest, and adequate rest is defined as 4 to 5 complete sleep cycles in a 24-hour period. All right, now how do you know you got a sleep cycle? You hook up an EEG to your brain and check the brain waves each night? Of course not, but you can do some specific things that will help you get better sleep, better rest. So let's talk about those, but first let's talk about what happens if you don't get proper rest. A lot of pretty significant things. You can get poor healing, buildup of stress, weight gain, heart disease, allergies, shortened lifespan, significant stuff. So you got to pay attention to this. Proper sleep is critical to staying healthy. So, practical things. What can you do to get better sleep? First of all, let's back up. I missed one here. I missed a slide. So let's talk about practical things you can do to get better sleep. Number one, quiet is important. The quieter the better. You can have white noise to block out sound, but if you have a radio or TV playing, it's triggering thought processes that interrupt with proper sleep cycles. So no TV or radio. Number two, light is bad. The darker it is, the better. In fact, they've tied absolute darkness and sleep to a number of health issues. So keep your room, the darker, the better is healthier. Number three, a schedule. You should try to go to sleep at the same time, within 15 minutes of the same time every night, because our sleep is controlled by brain chemistry that gets into a rhythm that's a little hard to change over time. That's why people who have to change work shifts have a hard time with their sleep cycles and with health. So try to go to bed within 15 minutes of the same time. Next piece of healthy sleep is posture. Or no, let's talk about position first. Rule number one is stay off your stomach. Sleeping on your side or your back is better. Secondly, proper support is important. So having a firm enough mattress, the firmer the better, up to the point where it's not comfortable. I recommend the firmest you can tolerate, and then put a little bit of pillow top on it just for comfort's sake, but you want the base to be firm. I don't recommend a lot of memory foam for a number of reasons. It outgasses toxic chemicals through the night. It gets warm, and it doesn't support quite like a good mattress does, a healthier mattress. So more firm is better. And then support under your neck is critical. Whether you sleep on your side or your back, you need to have more support under your neck than under your head. All right? Because if you're on your side, let's say I'm on my side here, there's more room here than there is here. Unless you're a football player, this is always true. You need more support on your neck. If you're on your back, you need more support here to support the proper curve in your neck. So there are 3 ways that you can do the support under your neck, but only 2 of them work. So the way that we try to work to do this, because we know subconsciously this is important, is we take our pillow and wad it up under our neck. It's the right idea, but it doesn't stay there, so it doesn't work quite well. So option 2 is to take a towel. You can use your favorite pillow, grab a towel, and you roll it up like a log. Once you have it rolled up, like so, you may go bigger than that. You probably have to use a bath towel because you want to go a little bit bigger than that probably. But you can experiment with the size of that. But anyway, once you get it rolled up, you put it in the pillowcase along the edge to hold it in place, and then the towel is here, and your favorite pillow is here. All right, and again, you can experiment with that to find out the size and density that works for you. So that's option 2, and that does work pretty well. Option 3 is the contour pillow, which is like this. The contour pillow is made to do that because it has a bigger spot for your neck, smaller spot for your head, so it's like this, whether you're on your side or your back. Now, if you haven't done this before, don't go buy a contour pillow. Try the towel first so you can experiment with a free towel and your favorite pillow before you spend $40 at a time on pillow after pillow till you find the right combination. We've got 2 sizes and 2 densities of contour pillows here, and you can find more than that elsewhere. So do your experimenting with the towel rather than several pillows. So that is proper sleep. Proper sleep leads to better health because we're keeping the reservoir full. Let's talk about exercise. Exercise, we all know exercise is important for a lot of different reasons. Our heart, our lungs, our digestion, our immune system, our lymph drainage, muscle tone, weight control, weight management. Exercise is important. What you may not understand is that there are 5 components of exercise that we all should have in our weekly routine. So let's touch lightly on each of those, and then we'll talk about your maneuvers, because the first one we have is spine health, which is your maneuvers. We'll talk about those some more in a minute. Number 2, cardio. We have to get our heart pumping faster than it typically does at rest. So we should have 150 minutes per week of heart rate raising activity. And you can do anything that you enjoy that raises your heart rate. Brisk walking, running, jogging, trampoline, biking, swimming, dancing, whatever raises your heart rate, 150 minutes per week. So you can split that up into 30-minute segments through the week. Core stability has to do with abs and the muscles around the lower abdomen. They used to do sit-ups and leg lifts and such for core stability. Don't do sit-ups, don't do leg lifts, don't do crunches. They're too hard on the back. Option 2 for core stability is an exercise ball, where you do some exercises with that big ball protecting your back. Not bad. I prefer planks. So if you can get a video, I did a video on planks. That's pretty entertaining, and it'll give you some ideas of how to do planks safely and with some variety so they're not so boring, but planks are great for core stability. Then there's resistance training, which is weights or elastic bands or machines. This is for toning muscles. It also is critical for calcium absorption into your bones. Wolff's Law says when you put a bone under stress, it absorbs calcium into itself. So that's important. If you're dealing with osteopenia or osteoporosis, get some resistance training in your routine, but get some instruction, because you can hurt yourself with weights if you're jumping into it fresh, or if you don't know how to do it safely. So get some coaching or some instruction, and you'll do it safely, and it'll help a lot. Balance retraining, very important. As we get older, we lose, I think it's 20% of our balance neurology over a course of just a couple years. So we need to be aware of balance and understand that balance neurology can be reprogrammed. So there is some balance exercises that you can do, and we have a series of those. Write on your note paper that you got DASH program and ask us for that. We can give you the first into that series of the DASH program to work on reestablishing balance. It's critical. As we age, falls and injury from falls are responsible for a large percentage of deaths in a geriatric population. So you got to work on balance now. Don't wait till it's an issue when you're 70 years old. All right, let's go back to spine health and maneuvers. Your maneuvers are critical because they're training your muscles to hold your vertebrae in place. With your maneuvers, you'll get much more mileage out of your chiropractic adjustment. Do your maneuvers, you have to see us less frequently. So motivate yourself to do your maneuvers. I'm going to demonstrate the first few of them, the common ones that most of us have, and then if I miss any of them, when you see us next time, point it out to us and we'll demonstrate it for you there. The maneuvers are simply positions that you get into that you're going to hold for 10 seconds each. They're not stretches, you're not working at it. They're certainly not resistance training where you're powering through it. You get into a position as far as you're comfortable and you hold it there for 10 seconds and then repeat it the number that's on your sheet. All right, so pull your sheet out. You should have that with you. We're going to start with the door push, which is a very common one. You're going to need a doorway with the door open. You're going to stand in the doorway with your hands on the door jamb, flat like this, not out like this, not like this. You're standing right here, hands at shoulder length, and then you walk into the doorway. See why you need to have the door open? All right, hold it 10 seconds, then you relax. You don't lean in, You don't step with one foot. You want both feet flat, and you're stretching this open here. Number 2 is the hitchhiker. Hands out to the sides, thumbs up like you're hitchhiking on both sides. You're going to make small circles back like this. You want to feel your shoulder blades pulling together behind your back. It's not a shoulder exercise, it's a shoulder blade exercise. 10 seconds of that is 1 repetition. Number 3 is what I used to call the chicken. They now have it on your sheet as the glide neck back. A crazy term is that. But anyway, the glide neck back is done by looking straight ahead, gliding your head straight backward. The caution is don't push hard, first of all. This can be irritating if you've got a neck problem already. Just push back gently so you can hold it 10 seconds without hurting. You don't want to tip back and you don't want to tip down. You're gliding straight back like this. Again, hold it 10 seconds. All right, then there's the side tip, which is tipping your head to the side. The caution here is don't twist when you are tipping. And you can't even tell if you're twisting when you do this without a mirror. So either get somebody to coach you or do it in front of a mirror. Tip to the side as far as you're comfortable. Hold it 10 seconds. Relax. You'll repeat it. Whatever's on your sheet, typically it's more to one side than the other. So watch the numbers carefully. Side bend is the low back bending to the side with the same caution. We tend to bring that top shoulder forward. So either stand against a wall so you can keep your shoulders back, or again have somebody check you. You go as far as you're comfortable. Even if it's only 3 degrees before it starts hurting, stop if it's hurting. Hold it to 10 seconds and relax. But you go as far as you're comfortable. Repeat it more to one side than the other. Watch the numbers on your sheet. Next, we give out a lot of the bird dog. And there's a diagram on your sheet where you're on your hands and knees and you bring one arm and the opposite leg up in the kneeling position. All right? And then you hold it 10 seconds. Then you do the other side 10 seconds. And I can't demonstrate on this video, but you're on your hands and knees. The diagram will show you, and we can demonstrate it next time you're in if you need help with that. If you can't get on your knees because your knees hurt, you can do this on your bed, although that's more of a balance challenge, or you can do it standing. You just need to hold on for balance and then do your bird dog standing. All right? I'd rather have you do it on your hands and knees if you can, but if your knees won't tolerate it, just do it standing up. But you still got to do both sides. All right, then there's the, let's see, I should have brought my sheet with me. Bird dog and the glute bridge. There's a diagram there. You lay on your back with your feet tucked up toward your hips, and you raise your hips up off the surface you're laying on. That is a form of a plank exercise too, so it does double duty, but it's a very good one for the low back. There's another one I'm skipping. So if I skipped yours, ask me next time, and we'll be glad to go over those with you. Abductor, that's one we do quite often. Either side planks or abductor works on the stability of the pelvis. So you're going to lay on your side, you bring one hip up, or one leg up away from the bed that you're laying on, and you hold it 10 seconds, and repeat that, the number that's on your sheet. You'll do both sides, the number that's on your sheet. So the abductor, that's the one I was missing. All right, so that's the maneuvers, and that's the 5 components of exercise that we should have in our weekly routine. Understand that out of these 6 components, remember they are nutrition, rest, exercise, stress management, spiritual health, and spine care. You can't just pick your favorites. You got to work on all of them. So as you take your notes, write down a clue or a goal for each one of these that you can work on. Let's move on to neural integrity, which is our spine. Now, why is the spine so important? Obviously, when it's not working right, you can get some pain. Back pain, neck pain, headaches are the typical things that we see. But we see other things too, numbness in the arms and legs. We deal with all kinds of health issues because the spine controls everything. The brain controls your spine, or controls your body by sending messages down the spinal cord and then out along nerve bundles that come out from between the vertebrae. There are 31 pair of these nerve bundles that contain thousands of nerve fibers that branch off and go to all the different parts of the body. If you irritate those nerve bundles, they get inflamed and they don't send the messages right anymore, and wherever that nerve goes doesn't work right. So these nerves control your digestion, your immune system, your muscles. They control, obviously, symptoms of pain and numbness and tingling. They control muscle strength, muscle cramping. They control everything your body does. So we at Delta Chiropractic Center aim to clear the spine of nerve interference so that not only do you feel better, but you function better and stay healthier. So here's some things that you can do, some practical things that you can do to take better care of your spine. It's a spine owner's manual, basically. There's two lists. One list of things to do and a list of things to avoid. So let's talk about the things to do first. Do, sit up straight. Posture is important. If you're slouching, you're training muscles to pull your spine out of place. So sitting up straight is important. Exercise regularly. Muscles that are toned protect our joints better than muscles that are weak and sloppy. Sleeping right, we talked about staying off your stomach, supporting your neck properly at night. Use neck support at night, the rolled up towel or the contour pillow. Drink water. I mentioned briefly earlier how much water should you drink. You remember? Half your body weight in ounces every day. That's a lot of water, but you got to do it. And I recommend you do 2/3 of that before noon. That way you're not rushing to get in at the end of the day and then you're up all night going to the bathroom. Good quality multivitamins so that you're replacing your old cells with healthy cells rather than unhealthy cells. Get adjusted regularly. Don't wait for pain to get adjusted. If you wait for pain to get adjusted, it's a lot like waiting to file your tax return until the IRS calls. It's too late. There's already damage done. So I recommend either once or twice a month for maintenance care. It's kind of like taking care of your teeth. You don't wait till your teeth hurt to brush your teeth. No, you take care of them regularly. You don't wait till your engine freezes up to check the oil. No, you get your oil changed regularly to keep things functioning at an optimum level. Next, do not cross your legs. Sitting with your legs crossed pulls your hips out of place and destabilizes your spine. So you can cross them at the ankle if you switch sides, but don't get in the habit of crossing your legs at the knee or ankle over the knee. Sitting with a wallet in your back pocket, again, pushes the hip up out of place. Truck drivers learned this a long time ago. You don't sit with your wallet in your pocket. Sleeping on your stomach, we already talked about that. Holding your phone with your shoulder, they used to do that a lot back when they had the big clunky phones. People still do it with little cell phones, but this is bad posture. You can just see that, and you're training muscles to be imbalanced, pulling your spine out of place. Carrying things one-sided, whether it's your purse or a toolbox or a briefcase or a baby, try to alternate sides so you're not carrying things on the same side all the time. That leads to muscle imbalance, pulling the spine out of place. Self-adjust. You see kids doing this, crunching their neck with their hands or throwing their back around to make it crunch. What that does is hypermobilize joints that are already too loose and too mobile, and it causes bigger problems. So if you see somebody doing that, warn them to stop, give them one of our business cards, because they will be a patient soon if they don't knock it off. And again, don't wait for pain to get tuned up. You know, pain and inflammation have momentum to them. It's kind of like when you have pain, there's a train that's going down a hill on the wrong track. You can't just stop that train and put it back where it belongs. You have to slow the train, bring it back where it belongs, and then set it on a better track. And that's what we're about here at Delta Chiropractic Center. Everything we tell you to do, your adjustments, your maneuvers, your nutrition, it's all designed to get your train of health headed back in a better direction. We've got to stop that momentum and get it going back in the right direction. Now, Delta Chiropractic Center also has a bit of a benefit because we're the only chiropractor in Lansing that uses the Pro Adjuster. The Pro Adjuster, of course, is that computerized tool that taps the vertebrae back into place very precisely, very gently, and we're the only place that uses it because it's very expensive. Chiropractors don't get the machines because they're quite expensive, but we've invested in it so we can take better care of you. We also offer some manual adjustments. I use maybe 15% of my practice as manual adjustments. When I go on mission trips, I do 100% manual adjustments. Dr. Dale does, I think he said 60 to 70% Pro Adjuster, maybe 30 to 40% manual adjustments. So it's a great tool that has opened chiropractic care up to a lot of people who could not have gotten it otherwise because they were either in too much pain, too much arthritis, post-surgical, geriatric. People who couldn't tolerate a manual adjustment can now get adjusted because we use the Pro Adjuster. I'm very proud to be able to offer that. All right, next on our list of 6 components is mental attitude or stress. We all have stress, whether we know it or not, whether we admit it or not. Let's define stress. Stress is a chemical change that happens in our body anytime we encounter something that changes in our environment. So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, if it's changed, we get stress chemicals. Those stress chemicals are damaging, and we have 2 choices, 2 options. We can either get stress out of our life, which is very difficult to do because some things you can't change, or you can deal with stress. And there are a number of things you can do to help you deal with stress, including exercise. Exercise helps burn up those stress chemicals, so exercise gives us a double bonus there. We can express and communicate issues either by writing them down or talking to a friend or a counselor, getting those things out of our brain where they're causing stress and onto paper where they're not so damaging. Massage therapy helps because it lowers stress levels. There's something about human touch that lowers stress chemicals, and we recommend 30 minutes once a month as a baseline for massage therapy. Some people do more than that, and our massage therapist here at the office does a great job. Great job. We recommend that highly. Being right with God. There's a spiritual component to dealing with stress, and that leads us to our final of our 6 components, which is the spiritual component. There is a spiritual part of our makeup that's important to take care of. Of course, people have been arguing about what to do about spiritual health forever, so I don't want to tell you what to do or what to believe. I would encourage you to deal with it, though, because currently the death rate in the United States is 100%. So you got to deal with it before you get there. And a lot of people have talked about different ways to deal with spirituality, and you can sort through that. I would submit to you that in my 61 years now of age, I've found that the Bible has good answers. Sounds simple, but people have been arguing about the Bible for 2,000 years too. So let me amaze you and tell you in 4 sentences, 4 comments, what the Bible says. Number 1, it says, oops, let me get ahead here. Here we are. Accept what Jesus did at the cross. He died on the cross to pay for our sins so that we could be right with God. That's a simple, free gift that we can take advantage of. Number 2, the Bible says love God and love people. That's what Jesus said when somebody asked him, what should I do to be spiritually healthy? Love God and love people. Pretty simple until you meet people. Then it gets a little more complicated, but we can work on that. Number 3, there's many verses in the Bible that refer to the fact that if we're spiritually healthy, it's going to raise our physical health as well. So it's worth digging into for that reason as well. And number 4, faith, that little word that is so abused so many times. It's not just believing in the blue sky. It is actually, I think faith is an action word. It's acting on something you know to be true based on a credible witness, like the Bible is, whether you can see it or touch it or feel it or measure it. We act on those things. I dig into those concepts in much more detail in my 2 books, 17 Questions and the book The Rest of the Gospel. Digs into those from my personal experience and my study. Those books are available here at the office or on Amazon. Feel free to take advantage of those. All right, so let's try to make this a little more practical by wrapping this up. So here's what I would challenge you to do. Remember we talked about 6 components: nutrition, rest, exercise, stress management, spiritual health, and your spine. So I would encourage you to, with your piece of paper and pencil, take 5 minutes and write down one goal for each of those components, one thing that you can do a little bit better. All right, so find some time and write down 6 goals. When you do that, I would encourage you to not only set some goals, but also go get somebody to be accountable to. If you want a goal to take advantage of, a goal to get done in your life, one of the things that will make it happen is to have an accountability partner. Somebody who can ask you once a week, how are you doing with that goal? That's all it takes, just to keep us focused, remind us that we're working on a goal, keep us accountable. So I would encourage you to do that. All right, so I would encourage you to step it up. You can be healthier than you were a week ago. You can. It may be a journey, it may be a challenge, there may be some work involved, but you can do it. We make our recommendations with that in mind, and we'll be glad to help you get there. You can certainly call us at any time. We have books that can help you with this process, setting goals, lessening the stress. The Reservoir, this talk is in book format. You're welcome to get a copy of that. I mentioned the other 2 books, 17 Questions and The Rest of the Gospel. Those books are available here at the office. We would encourage you to invite others to participate with the health goals that we have here at Delta Chiropractic Center. We'd be glad to evaluate and talk to anybody you think of who could benefit from chiropractic care. We really appreciate your referrals. So send them our way. We have a 10-point screening they might take advantage of. That's these coupons here. They're available here in the office. So you can grab one of those and pass it on. It entitles somebody to a free evaluation. Let them know if we can help them and if they get along with us here at the office. It's kind of a get to know each other time where we can evaluate their spine a little bit. And then, let's see, just wrap up, I guess. Feel free to call us anytime if you have questions. And we'll look forward to seeing you again. Our goal is for you to stay well as long as you can and help you get there. God bless you. I know God has good things ahead for you, so we'll look forward to seeing you next time.